Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Peeling Back the Label. Our special guest today is the award-winning author, actually multi award-winning author, Patricia Sands. And we're going to connect her in. This is an exciting day. Patricia and I were actually supposed to do an interview, I think it was last month. And so I'm really excited to get to have an interview with her this afternoon. Oh,
Ta-da!
hi, Patricia. I can't see you, but can you hear me?
I can see and hear you.
I don't know what it is with my phone. Last week when I did an interview with SR Fabrico, the same thing happened, but yet when I posted it, we were both on. So instead of wasting time and trying to figure it out, I'm just going to go with
Okay.
it. And I'm sorry that I can't see your beautiful face, but we'll pretend it's a podcast.
Right. There you
Okay.
go. Solution.
I'm sorry.
There's always a solution.
Yeah. We're just going to go with it. It's all good. Thank you so much for coming on. Today we're going to be talking about your book, well, one of your books, The Bridge Club. And if you have it, can you put it up for everyone to see? I don't have a copy of it.
I'm holding it right here.
Good.
And
Now, this is a special, this is like the an anniversary edition. How many anniversaries have we had so far with this book?
I'm also holding up the previous cover.
Yes, the one with, you have one with the roses, the flowers, and then the one with the women on it, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
I did my homework.
Just there. And I can't believe you don't have a copy. I'll have to send you one.
Oh, thank you. I did listen to the audiobook. So I did, technically read the book,
Okay.
and I love the audiobook. I can't wait to talk about your book. I love the ending. I'm not going to give it away, but I know it was a difficult subject, but I'm so happy that you left that particular subject for the ending.
Yes. Well,
Like it was like,
that was the ending in the original. And in the book with this cover, that was the ending. In the anniversary edition book, there is that ending, but then it goes on, because I had so many readers write to me so many years after I published the book and say, are you ever going to write anything more about those Bridge Club ladies? And, how did things go after the crisis that they faced in the first book? So the second book is essentially the first book all over again with a few edits, but then there is added content at the end that takes you on to the next 10 years after the Bridge Club, after the original.
very nice.
So that answered a lot of questions for readers about how things went for the ladies after.
Yeah, I love the book. I had FOMO the whole entire time I was listening to the book. And Patricia will talk a little bit about the book, but these are her real friends. The names are different and stuff like that, but these are Patricia's long lifetime friends. Like it's based on her friends and your life as well, right?
Yeah, it's based on my real life Bridge Club. And we still, originally there were 10 of us in the group. For purposes of bridge and all that sort of thing, I condensed it to 8 people, in 8 characters in the story, but they're all based for the most part on the real women in my Bridge Club. And we Zoom once a month. We're all kind of spread out all over the place now, and sadly 2 of the ladies have passed on. But we still, get together. And last summer, we rented a cottage for 4 days together, which was really fun and a lot of laughs, and very different how it would have been when we were having our weekends away 40 years ago.
Right. Yeah, it does. The dynamics change, things change, subjects change, all across the board, I can imagine.
Yes, but the laughter never changed.
And I love how, everyone got together in the Bridge Club and helped, like, whoever was having a crisis, they would like literally like, let's sit down, let's talk about it, and really help the person without any judgment whatsoever.
Exactly. And that, to me, that's the best part of that kind of friendship, that it's totally non-judgmental. Everyone has things happen in their lives, whether
Mhm.
they plan it or not. Sometimes, there are mistakes that they made, and, you have to live with that. So
Mhm.
everybody was always able to voice their own opinion. But the bottom line was that we always helped each other.
Yeah, that's what I loved. I mean, I have friends for that I still have for 40 plus years, but the connection is not like what you guys have. It's just I think we're just all too busy sometimes, but you guys, you take the time to make that, the yearly trip or the weekend trips and stuff like that, where nowadays a lot of people they just don't do it. They don't make it a priority.
Yeah, we used to joke that if you didn't keep up and keep in touch and stay connected like we were supposed to, that you'd get a letter of reprimand from someone.
I love it. That's that's great. Make them feel bad for not showing up or for canceling, or yeah, I get it. Sometimes you have to do that, right? Just to,
Yep,
because, and they'll thank you later once they're there. That always happens if you don't feel like doing something and you go and then you're like, oh, this is really great. I'm so glad I came.
exactly. Exactly.
Now, do you have any, like, while you were writing this book, or even like doing the anniversary edition, do you have any, like, um, any good stories that you could tell us that happened while you were doing, the writing, or anything like that? Anything that you haven't mentioned before?
Um, well, I don't think there's anything mentioned before. I really don't. Like, it's all in there. It's all in there. That's what happened, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the beautiful. And while I was writing it, like I was just writing this book. It was my very first novel, and I was writing it just for fun because my husband had recently retired. We were in Florida at our home there for the winter, and health issues kicked in, and he couldn't go out and golf and play tennis like he used to. So
Mhm.
I would still go out with some of my girlfriends, but not all the time. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And we had often joked that someone should write a book about us, the Bridge Club. But then we'd say, yeah, but who'd want to read it, So I started writing it just for fun. And, part of it is fictionalized. It's not 100% true. But the things that happened. And so they were really thought it was a great idea, and I had to talk with each one of them as the chapter about their crisis came up, because some of those things happened 30 years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and
Right. Yeah.
not all of them were current. And so I needed their help to remind me of exactly what went on. And they were all so supportive. And then as we got towards the end, they said, like, I've been showing this to friends of mine, and everybody says you should publish this book, because you're telling women's stories. And it's my book club would want to read this. It's a good book club book. And so that's really what started my career as an author at age 65. And I started looking into, you know, what you needed to do to publish a book. I'd done a lot of writing in my life. I was a teacher before, and you know, had taken a lot of courses, and I always was very well marked on my writing in university. Not so much for the content. Like, I might not have got all the right answers, but my professors always commented on the style of my writing. And that was something that was interesting to me. You know, I mean, I'm not a literature. I write like I talk. And so anyway.
You do. I think you do.
so, so then I started, you know, going to writer workshops and taking courses and reading tons of books about writing fiction and about publishing. And yeah, and that's how it all started. So, you know, after the Bridge Club was published, and I indie pubbed it because, of course, I sent out query letters to agents and literary agencies. And, you know, a 65-year-old first-time author wasn't exactly #1 on their wish list. So, you know, it was a time when the dynamics were changing in publishing, and self-publishing was coming into its own. And now, you know, here we are 15 years later. Well, yeah. And it's really, self-publishing is flourishing.
It
And,
is.
and so, so I self-published with the help of a company, a publishing company, because I didn't know what I was doing. Now, today I know that you don't need to use a company like that to self-publish. Everything, all the information you need is available to you online. There are some excellent websites to be very professional about your writing. And the most important thing is that you work with a professional editor. Do not ever publish anything that is not properly edited, because what happens is that you just get a bad name. If there are all sorts of grammar mistakes and, you know, crazy breaks in the writing with the, you know, POV and you need someone's guidance. You need the guidance. No matter how good a writer you are, you need the guidance of a professional editor.
Agreed.
And so anyway, the book was out there, and I had to be on social media to help promote it. And then I started hearing back from readers, but, you know, they really liked the book, and what else had I written? And it was like, well, nothing. So I continued to take courses and got really involved with the writing community. And that's what really kicked off my career, because, you know, writers help each other promote their books. They have all sorts of good information about the kind of book promoters to use. And it's just been an amazing time. And, you know, I knew that I wanted to keep writing about women of a certain age, because a lot of the readers that I heard from were saying it's so nice to read a book about women who are over 50 and, you know, some of their experiences. And also, of course, I loved setting my next books in the south of France, because my husband and I spent so much time there in the last 25 years. So anyway, you know, everything just all worked for me, and I was very fortunate after I self-published the first 2 books of the Provence series that Lake Union Publishing sent me an email, and you know, kind of every writer's dream, and signed me to a contract and bought the rights for my Provence books, and also published my book Drawing Lessons, which is also set in the south of France, but in a different area. So, you know, to have that experience and then to continue also indie pubbing some of my books has made it a busy time, and very satisfying. But I'll always, you know, love the Bridge Club. I'm holding the book up again. Even though you can't see it, I will always love the Bridge Club, you know, for being the first, and for starting this very exciting, for me, career. And you know, right after the Bridge Club was published, we used to get together, the Bridge Club, apart from our monthly evenings, we would, every 5 years, because some of the women moved out west to Vancouver, and so every 5 years, they east or we would go west and celebrate big birthdays, you know, like on the 40s and the 50s and the 55, 65s. And so that year that the Bridge Club came out, of course, it was our 65th birthday, and we all had birthdays in the same year or 1 year later. So we all went out to Vancouver Island, and we rented two cottages side by side, and had a week out there. And you know, as the Bridge Club always did, you know, one of the members was a phys ed teacher, so she was very organized. And so through all the years, for all of our outings, she would have an itinerary planned, and
I love that.
sometimes she even wore a whistle. So blow the whistle and get us all together so we could go on to oh God, we had fun.
That's funny.
Because the Bridge Club had just come out, I had bookmarks about the book, and everywhere we went, they were just blabbing about it. You know, we'd be on a boat going somewhere, and they'd say, "Hey, do you know this is Patricia Sands, and she just published this book, The Bridge Club," and they had a copy with them, and they'd be handing out bookmarks and saying, "And we're all in the book, so you know you need to read it."
Yeah, they were your biggest cheerleaders, I'm sure.
They certainly were. But you know, I had to get signed authority from each one of them before I published the book, that I had their permission. That even though I had changed the names, it nevertheless, you know, was their stories. So and that was not a problem. And I changed all the names except one, and that was Bonnie. And Bonnie is really, I think, the biggest character throughout the Bridge Club. She wasn't just the loudest. She had the biggest personality. And I say had because sadly 4 years she passed away. And she passed away exactly the way she would have loved. She went to sleep one night and didn't wake up. She was 73, and as far as we all knew, there was nothing wrong, but that's what happened. And one of the Bridge Club ladies was staying overnight at her place that weekend because it was Canadian, and she found Bonnie the next morning, and she said it was the most appropriate thing, that it should have been her that was there. And actually they knew each other the longest of all the Bridge Club ladies. Their families had known each other since they were babies. So there was a lot of meaning to that, but it was a terrible shock. And she was just, she's the one who, she was the alcoholic in the story, and she did stop drinking at age 40 and never touched another drop, and did a lot of counseling for alcohol and drug addiction, although she didn't take drugs, but she did a lot of counseling for that afterwards. She was amazing, and she was so much fun. But yeah, she had the loudest voice, and she'd walk into a room, and you know, people might sort of turn their heads and look to see, you know, who was making all that noise. They might even look disapprovingly at first, and they loved her. She was just amazing. So when I said to her, I said, "Oh, Bonnie, I forgot to change your name. It's not too late. I can still go in, you know, and make that change." And she said, "Oh, no, don't bother. That'll be just fine." And she used to tell me through the years that she'd run into people, because, you know, the majority of the book is set in Toronto, and Bonnie lived in Oakville, and her family was very well known there because they had a big cattle business, and had for many, many years.
Wow.
And so, but she was also back in those days, the president of the real estate board. So, you know, she had a lot of contacts, and she used to tell me from time to time how people would say to her, you know, Bonnie, I just read a book and about a group of women, and I'm pretty sure you're in it. She said, yeah, that's me. Great, eh? She was very proud of that. And one of the funniest that happened, do I have time to tell you?
Yes, I want to hear all this stuff.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, and this involves Bonnie again.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it. So 10 years ago, I started doing women's tours in the south of France. Do it every September now. And it's a fabulous tour. 12 days. We have between 10 and 16 women with us. And we spend 6 days in Nice and 6 days in Arles. So we only change hotels once. And it's based on roughly my books, my Provence books and drawing lessons, because drawing lessons was...
If you have them and you want to show the audience, I would be more than happy to have you do that. If you have any of the book covers.
Yep, I do. Well, The Promise of Provence is right here, and evolved into a trilogy. I wrote this after the Bridge Club. I thought it was going to be a standalone, and then so many readers wrote and said, "So what happened? What what happened? Did she stay? Did she go?" So that turned into 3 more books, and then writing and saying, but we love all those characters that you have in your stories. Like, for instance, one of them is a 90-year-old woman called Simone, and another is a wild French taxi driver called Bernadette. And anyway, so that then evolved in me writing this series. I'm just reaching over to my bookcase. And in December, I just published the 4th book of these. These are Villa de Violette stories, and they're shorter. They're novels. They're about 250 pages, and they're very seasonal. You know, this one's about over the holidays, and this is spring, and this is fall. And then in December, I just published the 4th one, which is all a seasonal story. Well, that was so exciting to have that happen. And for a writer, it's so much fun to know that your readers are really engaged. And hi, Karen Komarinsky. I hadn't noticed the names that were going on in the on the side there, but
yeah, it says you have author Karen, Sue Bordley, who else? Anna Z. Zamaron, Maggie, Maggie Quinn, Will Driver. You have quite a few people on here. I mean, I could go on and on.
Hi, Maggie. She's right here in Collingwood, where I live.
Oh.
So anyway, so this is Drawing Lessons. That is the book that's set in Arles and the Camargue, which is the area south of Arles. So we stayed there for the second 6 days, and then, as I said, the Promise of Provence is basically we go to all the towns that are mentioned in this story in the first 6 days, and it's I have to say it's just a wonderful tour. I've done the last few with my good friend Deborah Bine, who lives most of the year in France. And then she had some foot surgery, so that kept her out of the action for a while. So Nancy McGee, who owns the travel company, has gone with me last year and will this year too. And it's just the best time. What I love the most about it, apart from being in the part of the world that I love the most, is the way the women on the tour always become good friends. And nobody wants to go home at the end of it. And it's a very relaxed tour. We do day trips to beautiful places, because everywhere there is beautiful.
Yeah. What's not to love about France?
Yeah. The weather is really lovely. And yeah, I look forward to it every year, because I just know it's going to be a great time.
Now,
Um,
do you, I guess while we're talking about your tours, is there any way of, if anybody who's watching, either now or in the near future, how can they get a hold of you to find out more about these tours?
well, I post a lot about them on my Instagram page. I've got all sorts of reels showing photos from previous tours.
I love all your photos.
Thank,
I love watching your reels with all the pictures. I love it.
thanks. I love making them, and I love looking at the pictures too. So they can always contact me through Instagram or Facebook, and then but I usually have posted to the link directly to the travel company, which is absolutely Southern France, and Nancy McGee is the owner of the company that will be with me on the tour, and she's just fabulous and great fun. She's lived in France for almost 40 years. And yeah, it is really a wonderful experience. So the story I was going to tell you, I was trying to think, how did I get talking about this?
Sorry, but I just figured let me just slip that in case anyone's interested, because it's such a great opportunity.
Yeah, thanks so much. I digress very easily. So Bonnie, yes. So I open my emails one day, and there's an email from Bonnie, and we live pretty close to each other, but still. And there's an email of Bonnie, big smiling face, and next to her, big smiling face, a woman who had been on my tour the previous year. And I'm like, what the heck? How did that happen? So, excuse me. I called Bonnie right away and said, what? How did you meet Joyce? And she said, well, I was in Vancouver, where she used to go to visit family all the time. And she said, I was getting on the bus to go to the ferry to go over to Vancouver Island. And it was early in the morning, and two couples got on. And then they were talking about travel. And then I heard one of the women say, oh, last year I went on this tour to the south of France. It was so fantastic. And actually, her daughter went with her on that tour. That was really nice to have the mother-daughter
Hmm.
combination. And she said, oh, it was really great. And it was led by an author. And Bonnie turns around and she says, was that author Patricia Sands? The woman said, yes, it was on her tour. So then she said, well, I'm Bonnie from the Bridge Club. And she had read the Bridge Club. So that was just great. So
I
then
love that.
they the trip over to the island and sent me that beautiful picture of the two of them. That was so much fun. Yeah, I love that too. It's funny how things happen, isn't it? Like,
It is. And it just makes you want to continue and do more and more and more. Those little spurts of inspiration, you know?
yes, that's right. So, and come on our tour because friends of theirs came, the year before or the years before. That's always nice. Last year, we had a woman from Australia who came with her cousin. We've had a few Australians on the tour, and a few people from England, but most of them are from Canada and the States. And yeah, so this woman from Australia, Cece, came with her cousin from the States, and they came because a friend of her cousin's had been on our tour the year before. So, word of mouth is so important. I mean, and particularly with books, right? I mean, that's the best way to find out about a good book
Yes.
is to
And through book clubs is even better, right? Because a lot of people at one time.
yeah, exactly. And I love visiting with book clubs. I had an amazing visit with
Oh,
the club of yours this past year. You organized me with the ladies who read The Secrets We.
yes. They love that
Oh,
book.
they were so great. They were so well prepared and had the best questions. And yeah, book clubs are terrific. And it's so easy to do now with Zoom. That's a
I
nice thing.
I know, right? Who would have thought, right? 10 years ago, we wouldn't have even considered that. It's amazing how, uh, the opportunity now with social media and the internet for authors, you could really, spread yourself out and have more and more people know about you.
Hmm. So true. Yeah, and I guess we have COVID to thank for the Zoom
Yeah,
call.
I know. Who would have thunk, right?
We all got into it, but that's how the Bridge Club connects every month now too, as we do a Zoom call.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah,
Let
very good fun.
me, can I ask you a few questions? Like personal questions?
Well, you can
Well,
try.
not too personal. I just want to know, what book is on your night table or in your phone or your Kindle? Like, what book books are you into right now?
Well, I just finished listening to The Women on Audible. I really love audiobooks,
Me
and
too.
every 2 weeks I go an hour and a half south of here to spend part of the day with my youngest grandchildren. We have 9 grandchildren. We have 7 adult kids. We're a blended family, and we have 9 grandchildren. The oldest just got married last September, which was very exciting. And the youngest are 2.5-year-old identical twin boys.
Aw.
Yeah, I mean, all of our grandchildren have been adorable. But I have to say, these identical twin boys are something else. And of course, any 2.5-year-old is such a delight. I mean, they're just
Yes.
full of surprises. But I have to say, and their mom knows this because she sees me call them by the wrong names. So identical. It's really, a challenge to know if they're right side by side. That's one thing, but if you just have one with you, sometimes I'm like, is that? But anyway, so on that hour and a half, both ways, I get a really good chunk of a book listened to. So I'm a big fan of Audible, and I'm also well, I'm busy writing at the moment on a project. Last year, a group put out a series called the Sail Away series, and it was really fun. That's my book from that, Lost at Sea. Because even though it's a series, none of the books are interrelated,
Okay.
but each one takes place on a cruise. And they're all, to Panama, to Alaska, to the Caribbean. And mine is, of course, in the Mediterranean. So,
Of course.
and of course, they had to stop at, different places in the south of France. So that worked. But they also went along the Italian coast, down to Portofino and the Amalfi Coast, and then on to Sicily. So it was really a fun story to write. And, a quick read. These books that are like, 200, 250 pages, I think they're lovely for nighttime reading, for sure, because you can get through them so quickly. Anyway, a lot of the same authors invited me to join their series for this year, and it's different, but we are all dog lovers. So this series is about 8 people who pick a pup from this breeder who has Labrador retrievers. So we each take one of the pups from her latest batch, and it's a story of how we become pet owners. And
I love that.
well, I realized when I woke up this morning that I had dreamt about that. When I woke up, I was sort of thinking, what was that pup's name? And then I thought, no, that was a dream. So anyway, I'm having fun with that. But I do have a new novel simmering away, And as soon as I get finished with this story, I'll be able to dive into that. So there's always something happening.
Yeah,
That's the great.
you are a machine. You just, I mean, you're constantly, writing books. You travel. You're hosting tours. Are you still skiing?
Yes.
Yeah, you're skiing. I mean,
Yeah.
you have that chutzpah. Let me just tell you.
Well, that's it. So I'm here out the window at the ski hills. Actually, they look great because they still look all nice white, but they don't have much snow on them now. We
Mhm.
horrible winter in that we hardly had any snow. So I only had 5 good days of skiing this winter. That was disappointing. But anyway, yeah, I ski and I play tennis and, I like to keep busy.
Yeah, God bless you. I mean, I think that's great. Now, you play tennis. Is it, I guess maybe, do you do it all year round, like an inside tennis
It's
place?
indoors in the winter. We have
Yeah.
4 weeks and then that closes and then the nets will go up outdoors. Except knowing the way things have gone this year, yeah, in 2 more weeks, it'll snow. That'll
I know. You can't, you never know. I mean, I remember in the States, many years back, it snowed on Easter. So you don't know.
That's the same thing happened here too, come to think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You just don't know.
yeah, you got to go with the flow.
You may go skiing one more time. You never know.
Cost.
So tell us, so you told us about what books are on your night table. Do you have any favorite genres that you prefer to read, or do you like multitude?
Yeah, well, I read everything. And recently an author friend of mine, Paulette Kennedy, who's part of the Blue Sky Book Chat group, uh, asked me to read her new release that was coming up, and I went through to that. It's like a gothic, not horror, but gothic paranormal. Uh,
Oh,
and I'd never really read anything like that. And I loved the book. I couldn't put it down. It's called Mr. Davenport. No,
I'll
wait a
write
minute.
it down. I'm going to write it down.
Mrs. Davenport and the Devil.
Mr. Davenport and the Devil.
It's,
I love reading books that kind of push you a little bit, get you out of your comfort zone. Last year, our book club, we decided to read books for this year that are out of our comfort zone, books that we would never pick up, like say paranormal or whatever, never thinking about picking up. And it's so exciting to hear everybody's thoughts and how much they like the book, and they can't wait to read another book from that same author. So I definitely know where you're coming from. It's exciting.
yes, it is. And you know what? It takes a good author, a talented writer to create that excitement and that interest for you. And so Paulette's book, and in case you didn't hear me right, it's Mrs. Davenport.
Oh,
And
Mrs.
the yeah,
I didn't hear you. Okay.
on my Instagram feed, you'll see some graphics that I posted. And so she released it a few weeks ago. It hit the #1 bestseller list, and it's doing very,
Wow.
very, very well. And it's because she's such a great writer. And she also did some cool things when she was promoting it because it's set in the 1950s. And so she did on her Instagram reels, she was, sort of dressed in 1950s apron, and she did all sorts of recipes from that period,
Oh,
which I thought was very cool. So yeah, but I mean, my favorite genre, I love everything. I mean, I like reading a book that makes me laugh. And again, one of our Blue Sky authors, Marilyn Simon Rothstein, you should have her on sometime. She's
okay.
hilarious, and she's just working on her 4th book. They're all, really good, really funny, really poignant. She's a bit like Irma Bombeck. She always reminds me of her humor. You
That's
can't have a Yeah, you can't have a conversation with her without laughing. So yeah, I love books that make me laugh. I do like historical fiction. I read as much historical fiction as I possibly can, and of course women's fiction, and yeah, I'm all over the place with reading, and
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, you know?
and I love it, you know. And in order to write well, you have to be well read. You know, it's
Mhm.
every book that you read, as a writer, you are helped, and so yeah, it's just a wonderful thing to have in my life. And who would have known that at this, you know, chapter, this is what I do now.
Yeah, no, I think that's wonderful. You know, who knew you were just writing a book because you know, your bridge club talked you into it, and now look at you, you know, a million books later, and more coming, and you know, being a tour guide.
Exactly. And actually, I don't even have to really guide on this tour because it's all taken care of. You know, we have guides that we
Well, I
use,
didn't
and
mean it
I know
like, you know, I don't really know what the title is.
I don't get to schmooze with everybody, and to share my passion for that part of the world. But no, you call me a tour guide, no problem.
Okay, I have just a quick little game for you called This or That.
Okay.
So, are you like a beach person or a lake person?
Beach.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Potato chips or pretzels or something else that you prefer even better?
Uh, Anything with chocolate.
Mm. Wine or spirits?
Uh, okay. I don't drink very much, but
Oh, okay.
when I'm in the south of France, I do drink a lot of rosé.
Ooh, I love rosé. Um, are you binge watching anything on Netflix?
Always.
Always. What was the last show that you watched that you really loved?
Oh my gosh, there have been so many, but one that we just finished, because that's like at 7 o'clock at night, that's it. I show up. I may have been writing all day, but at 7 o'clock, I show up.
Right. You're like, that's it, I'm done. Let's go.
And I think it was called The New Order. It's
Oh,
about the top couturiers during the at the beginning of the war in Paris. So it's about Christian Dior and Chanel and
I
all
never heard of that one. I
really
have to
good.
write that down.
Yeah,
I'll have to write that down.
I'm pretty sure uh, it's The New Order. I'll check it out. Let you know about
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
But yes, that was really well done. And you know, we've watched the morning show and all those great. Oh, and of course, Succession. Oh,
Hmm.
Succession was just so.
Yes.
There was so much of it, and we miss it. But I'm sure something else like that will come along.
Yeah. It's
And also,
there's always something. I think the Bridge Club would be a good movie. I was watching not too long ago Queen
oh
Bees. I don't know if you saw that one.
no,
About this woman had to go into a like an assisted living community because her house had to get worked on, and she ended up staying there because she wanted to. But you know, so it's all about women of age and the different things that they go through. You know, maybe somebody had cancer, or, you know, somebody had trouble with their own children, and I think you would really enjoy it. But it reminded me of the Bridge Club. I'm like, the Bridge Club should be on Netflix.
cool. Well, I will look that up. But yeah, a lot of people have said that to me, that it would make a good series,
It
you
really
know.
would.
But
I definitely think so.
okay, well, everybody write Netflix and have them get in touch with me. I'm here.
That's right. Yeah, I think that that what is it? The Seven Husbands
Oh yeah,
book. That's now going to be a Netflix show. So you know, you just never
oh,
know. You never know.
yeah. That was that was a really good book. I liked that a lot. The
Yeah,
seven.
me too. Yeah, you know what? I put off reading it for so long, and then I said, I'm going to read it, and I was so glad I did.
Yeah, me too. And then did you watch All the Light We Cannot See? That
Yes,
they did.
yes,
That was
I
beautiful.
love that. I love that. Yeah, I really did like that one too. I did,
Yeah,
and that was a book turned into a movie,
absolutely.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, series.
No, it's there are so many good ones out there, and because more he a lot of TV in the evenings. So we've got all the different, places where you like BritBox and Prime and Plus and wherever it's on, we probably have
Yeah,
it. And
yeah, I know. You can't. There's not enough time. There's not enough time in your life to be able to watch everything that's available.
but I mean, it's great to have that, instead of having to go. Like, I'm sorry that we don't go to the movie theater as much as we used to, but times have changed.
I don't even think they have like really good stuff out. I mean, I think they're putting it more on, the streaming stuff than they are in the movies. It's just like if because I have, college age children.
Yeah,
Let's see what's on at the movies, and there's really not that much that you would really want to pay that much money because it costs a fortune to go to the movies now. Um, you're better off just like you said, just going on the streaming and finding something there. There's not a lot out there anymore. I think they're just all doing the streaming.
yeah, that's right. I mean, when a new movie comes out, if you wait long enough,
Exactly.
be able to exactly.
Yes.
And
Yep.
we have access to all the tennis channels, so we have tennis constantly going on throughout the year at all the different tournaments that are on. The Miami tournament's on right now.
Yes, my friend is there. She decided to go.
That's great.
Yeah, they're really big tennis people, like you.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
So, Patricia, tell us again how we can get a hold of you, where your books are, and if anybody wanted to, send you a little message or something, how would we get a hold of you?
Well, first of all, the most obvious is Instagram. Psands.stories is my account, and I'm on there a lot. Um, and then my website, patriciasandsauthor.com. Uh, all the links to everything else you can find there, as well as information about all my books. And of course, Facebook. Oh my gosh. You just have to Google my name, as you do with most authors, and you'll be able to find me. And I'm always happy to hear from readers. I have a sort of monthly newsletter that goes out, and I always have giveaways from some of my author friends, and information about France and photos from France, and lots of good stuff. So I love hearing from readers. It's the best reward for an author, and so contact me any way you want. I'll get back to you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And when you're ready to talk about your next book, we'll have you on again.
Okay, Stephanie, that sounds great. Thanks a lot. You did such a great job
Uh,
connecting readers.
Thank you so much. Have a great
Thanks.
day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Pick up my granddaughter now.
Okay. Enjoy.
Thanks.